Okay, so we're going to have a look at pitching the Durston. So you've got 4 corners, find your corners, and it doesn't matter which way around you do it because they're both opposite each other. All right, so from what I can tell, the best thing to do with this is to pitch it tail into the wind. Peg out all 4 corners, try to pitch it as a rectangle, give or take a bit. The beauty of this is you have your pole and you don't have to undo the zip. So what you can do is you can just be very, very careful if you're using walking poles. That's the only thing. These that Chris has got, these are the ones that come with the tent, where you know, it's probably an extra add-on. And then there's a grommet on the bottom there. So make sure that your tip, not tit, goes into that grommet. And, you know, it stays in that grommet in there. And then you do the same over here. Mind your feet that you don't stand on it. So that's the grommet thing. So the pole tip goes into that. So just put your pole,
slip your pole in your hole, and I blame Dom for that.
And then into that grommet. Make sure it's in that grommet safely, securely, and make sure that it's in there safe. And as the advertising tells you, that's basically all you need to do. And that's kind of like your tent pitch. Open up the fly, and then there's a small bungee loop at the bottom. So just thread your pole around that and then get it lined up. Do your zip back up again. This side, undo the zip, and just put the pole in there. And don't forget, when you're pitching it and you're getting everything tight, do up the little clips at the bottom of the zip. So we'll do up the other one. So once you've got the basic shape, just tighten up and reposition all of your pegs. Push the pegs in about, depending on the length of the peg. If you're using Eastern pegs, push the pegs in about halfway. Just keep that knot there, just away from the end, because otherwise it's too difficult to do up. So yes, if you're using Eastern pegs,
you will push the pegs all the way in once pitching is finalized.
Luckily, Chris has another Eastern peg. Now, when Chris pitched it, he used the smaller pegs for the 4 corners. Personally, I would be using Eastern pegs because you've got a lot of pressure going on it, and because this line here will be taking quite a lot of pressure, I would be using an Eastern peg on this one as well, and then tighten it up there. We can tighten everything else up in a minute, and then use this smaller Eastern peg this side here, although the wind is changing direction actually tomorrow. I'll put that one, but they're pretty good, these pegs, so, and get that tight there. And once they're tight, then you just want to go around and tighten up all of the others. It's pitched here on some bumpy bits, so it's kind of interesting how it's going to pitch. Seems okay. And then Chris has 2 smaller Eastern pegs. I like these, they're good. So put that one in the door so that's nice and secure. Come around this door, put that one in there.
If you're using shorter pegs for pitching, push them in more than halfway for this setup.
Like I said, I've even pitched that on fairly uneven, bumpy ground, so we'll have to make sure that it's flat and level inside. So then we'll take this peg here, put that one in there. The mid panel points are on some bungee cord, so don't pull them too tight. You don't want the bungee tight, you just want the bungee to be elasticated but not tight. You can put a bit of bungee, which is what he's done. I probably would just use a bit of cord.
The bungee does seem to work okay here, but can come undone a bit too easily.
If you're finding this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button to all, and to keep watching.
The reason why at this stage I don't push the pegs all the way in is if I make a mistake and I have to change it, I haven't got to pull the pegs all the way out again. I can push them all the way in a minute. Oh, thank you, matron.
That's pitched out quite nicely on bumpy, uneven ground. You could raise and lower the poles a little bit depending on requirement. That all looks good there. Just one other tip, this isn't supposed to sag, is it? Because it's polyester, so it won't sag. But if by any chance anything sags, or you have any movement, or anything like that, and you don't want to get out, maybe your line has slipped a tiny bit, then just lengthen the pole from inside, and that will just tighten everything back up again for you. So that's just another little tip. I've not pegged out this one here because obviously this is that's part of the door. If you keep this line here just slightly to the left, and that gives you plenty of doorway to get in, so it's very easy to get, you know, in and out there. You have straps up here, so if you need to lengthen or shorten these straps, and then there's another one back there, so if your inner is too high or too low, then you have that clever strap system there.
Previously,
I think when it comes to pitching the Durston, I think you're probably better off pitching it one of the narrow sides to the wind. We've actually pitched it on this occasion. The wind is coming up the valley, so we've kind of got it pitched, you know, this way. Common sense should have told us as well. I kind of think that you should put the narrower, smaller end into the wind, and also if this is your feet, then nothing's going to come, you know, bowing into your head or your sides. And also it kind of makes more sense to have it this way because you've got this line here. I think the stitching on here is excellent. I'm not talking about the quality of the stitching, but the angle of the stitch is kind of like this angle here. So I kind of think you've got to have your line pretty much in line. I don't really see the point of having your line this way. I've seen a couple of YouTubers mention about having the line this way. I don't really see the point of that, because if you do that this side and that the other side, if the wind is coming towards you, your line is coming towards you. Also, if you have it too much towards you, you're putting unnecessary strain on one edge of this stitching here. So I kind of think with stitching, you're better off putting it in a reasonably straightish line.
in this instance, I'm talking about the stitching on the line lock itself.
If the wind is striking this panel, then yes, you might have, and you had your line coming this way, yes, that side might be protected with that line, but there's no protection for that. You literally got a cord pulling with the wind. So, and this panel here is, you know, I would not be putting too much pressure on that. That's why there's bungee cord there, so I wouldn't be putting too much pressure on that panel there when it comes to wind. The stitching is superb. It's excellent stitching, everything. It does seem to have been, it is seam sealed. I'm not quite sure how it's been done. I'm just looking at the seam sealing. I don't think it's taped. I could be wrong. Maybe it's taped, but I don't think it's taped. And there's some as dribbled on the wall here. I think they've used seam grip. Yeah, because you can see there, it's seam grip. It's not taped.
It just looks more seam grip than tape to me.
I'll just show you the vents. It does have very good vents on it. It has this funny little Velcro thing here. It's like something, you know, like a solid piece of something inside here. So, and that goes on the inside out the way, and then it can be done up, so that's obviously storm proof there, and the top of the inside bit is about there, so it's good protection there. And then you can just put that there, so then you've got this pretty good ventilation thing there. So you've got one there, and then obviously one on the other side, and I would leave those open pretty much all the time. I wouldn't, you know, unless you have to do them up because snow is getting in or rain somehow gets in, you know, I would be inclined to keep those done up.
Thank you very much for watching to the end. That helps the channel the most. Please do like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button to all, share on social media and with your friends if possible. See you next time.